Daniel 3:28. Now that we have read through Daniel 3:28 and talked about grammatical features, I want to focus on one particular word, the shin, nun, he verbal root. In Daniel 3:27, in the pa'al, it meant something like change, and the shin, nun, he root in the pa'el, doubled middle radical, in Daniel 3:28 means something like violate. Now, these words have meaning in context. We can do our own studies about root word meanings in Hebrew and Aramaic. It's just harder to do in Aramaic because of the smaller size corpus. This is one of the verbal roots that appears in many different stems. So I'd like to highlight a new lexical resource that's a good resource to have on hand for determining the meaning between different verb stems of the same verbal root. And that is a Biblical Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon by Frank Matthäus. It's the translation from the original German. And like many lexicons, you turn to the back to get to the Aramaic, and here's the entry for shin, nun, he. At the top, you see pa'al, be different or changed. Remember that? And you see 7, 8, and 11 as keys to these various forms. For now, let's just keep in mind that we're going to ask that question, what are those numbers for, and continue. Under that, you see pa'el, the PA, and there's the change, transform, transgress, and Daniel 3:28 is specifically mentioned, as well as a passive participle meaning of being different, and then there's that 7, 8, and 11 again, right? And then under that, it, pa'al, and hafel. Now with this much information crammed into a small space, we can understand why the author wanted to use these numbers. You look at the bottom of each page and there's this key. So you can see a 7 means SC, suffix conjugation. So that is a perfect. 8, PC, that means prefix conjugation. So that means imperfect. And you see the other abbreviations there. So for example, 11, okay, participle. All right, so what's so special about this resource? Well, it's cheap. That's a big help because, of course, the Kaler-Baumgartner lexicon is the academic standard for Hebrew and Aramaic studies, but it's very expensive for students. So here is a much less expensive resource that you might consider, and as you can see, is very helpful in containing the entire biblical vocabulary, in this case, of Aramaic.